Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the new order as Germany. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, well, first and foremost, apparently we have some airplanes that we can deploy, but I'm not going to worry about that because we can worry about airplanes once we're actually at war. Up until that point, it's not a major concern of ours, I have to say. We are at negative 53 political power, which is not great by like any actual means, but we'll just deal with it. We are currently meeting with the generals. Assassination attempt on the king. I mean, the king is our little puppet, so hopefully things go okay in England for now. Okay, meet with the generals. We can either increase the army, or we ground the Luftwaffe. Research bonus. You know, let's secure the party next as well. How much legitimacy do we have? We're moderate. We have 40 points. Which is twice as high as next guy. We could divert more infantry equipment, and I do think that seems beneficial for us. We'll send those rifles over. How many guns do we actually have in total? It's in logistics. I mean, I think I had to find to see if there's a mod that actually changed these graphics. They are a little bit of a mess. So you got 5,000 rifles in storage. And Otto Ernst Remmer. Otto Remmer, born August 18, 1912, is a career soldier in Germany's here. Remmer joined as a commissioned officer in 1932, just as the Nazi Party was rising into prominence. A former Hitler Youth leader in the Second World War would see him deployed on nearly every front the Reich fought in. Participating in Poland, France, the Balkans, Remmer was impressed with his superiors during Operation Barbarossa, where he led his own regiment in Ukraine with distinction. In the following decade, Remmer managed to claw his way to commanding his own corps, just in time for the Westminster Revolutionary Front's invasion of the RK Moscow. Again, he led with distinction in the fighting against the communists. Remmer's corps was also instrumental in sabotaging Himmler's coup. He and his men arrested more than their fair share of SA formations when Speidel sent his orders. Remmer has not been sitting idle since then, however. Ferdinand Schroeder has made his acquaintance with Remmer shortly after the market crash of the 50s. The two alleged thanks to their staunch opposition to any and all military cuts. As for now, Remmer acts as Schroeder's right-hand man for the most militant of the German command staff. Highly intelligent and ambitious, Remmer is certainly a man to watch. An opportunist at heart, the role he has yet to play within the Reich is unknown, for better or for worst. Presumably, depending on like which faction you go to, he will probably be a general. I'm not too worried about that. Maybe I should be more worried about some sort of coup d'etat, but I'm kind of like mostly like golden. Also, I don't have my thing set up here, so don't worry about that. The Führer Museum. Dr. Karl Brandt wiped the sweat from his forehead as the Führer began his speech. Flanked by two grand podiums, there's only a few dozen people in the crowd, but not a single one was unimportant. Reichsminister Weiner Neumann and representatives of the RMVP stood with famous artists and reporters of the state press. Himmler's pompous adjutant, Julius Schaub, was shooting daggers at Martin Bormann, who was watching the Führer like a hawk. They were all nodding respectively as Hitler began to discuss the late painter Adolf Risch, pretending to ignore the two trembling hands thrust awkwardly behind his back. Despite Brandt's severe protestations, Schaub has insisted Hitler travel to the Führer Museum in Linz to officially open a new art exhibit, including a newly commissioned sculpture of my successor. Now, unfortunately for the young men here today, it is a curse of great artists that die before their time. Otto Giger passed away only a few years ago, and Arno Brecko's recent death has wrecked the world for a sculptor immensely. The crowd slowly turned to the left of the podium, where Arno Brecker was frozen still, his eyes darting fearfully around the room. Brandt wiped his forehead again with a drenched cloth. Many are too young to remember the days of degenerate art. The Führer trailed off, his whole body suddenly tightened up and staggered into a right-hand podium. Brandt's blood turned to ice, Hitler's arm finally jerked out, and the head snapped forwards, slamming into the marble podium with a sickening crack. A gasp of horror exploded from the audience as the Führer crumpled to the floor, blood pouring from his forehead. Arms and legs still withering. A woman screamed. A man yelled a curse. Raucous Misch was yelling at the crowd to stay back, and Bormann rushed forward and slipped on the blood with a yell. He slipped on the blood with a yell, staggering into Schaub. Brandt turned Hitler into his side and expected to wound his forehead. It was just a cut. The doctor shot Schaub, but Galera's uproar reached this fevered pitch. So stability gets even worse, and Hitler is currently ailing, which does mean we have some more options here, apparently. And the Führer speaks. Excitement filled the streets of Germania today as, unannounced, the Führer appeared on the balcony of the Führer Palace this morning and began an impassioned speech to those below. Hitler, seemingly in his nightwear and dressing gown, quickly drew the crowd of early morning commuters, government employees, and starstruck tourists from the colonies who could not believe their luck to see the Führer in person. Gesturing wildly and at times making little sense, the Führer cried how he could not sleep thinking of how the Reich's many enemies constantly plot against us. Denouncing the Jewish capitalist world, and spoke of how the German people must unite against the threat of Bukharin's degenerate Bolshevik regime. After almost 10 minutes, the Führer briefly, barely drowned out the speech of the government vehicle coming to a halt behind the palace. A group of men hurrying inside. Moments later, Martin Bormann appeared on the balcony beside the Führer and, smiling nervously, gently ushered him back to the palace, citing security concerns. On their part, the crowd hung on every word and continued to applaud and cheer long after the Führer had returned inside. Yeah, so basically, you know, the Führer, he's gotten completely mad. Because Bukharin, if you're not actually aware, I don't know if I've actually really explained the lore too much of the New Order, but instead of Stalin taking power in the Soviet Union in 1927, it was Bukharin. Yeah, and Bukharin ended up losing the Second World War. So basically, he's Hitler right now. He's gone senile. He still thinks it's probably like 1937. He doesn't know what he's doing. So we have some more factories that we can deploy. Where do we want to put these factories? I think for right now we're basically fine. We're building our hospitals. What else do we want? School, enrichment plant, nuclear reactor. I think our grid power is fine. Synthetic refinery, naval dockyard, fuel silo, air bases, naval bases. I mean, I guess we'll just build, like, let's build some more prisons. Let's build a prison here. Let's build some schools as well. I mean, our school system's not great. Unsurprisingly, one of the best things in the country right now is our military program, which shouldn't really surprise anybody at all. So with our 3 technologies, it is still 62, so you're all way ahead of time. We could get a mechanical rangekeeper. You know what? Sure, why not? We'll take you. We'll take our radar upgrades as well. And we will take a... yeah, anti-tank weapon? Sounds good. It's something that we can actually research, so I am all for it. But yeah, I think overall, things are going all right in the Reich. Collaboration is one in Malaya. Which, I mean, the collaborationists are pro-Japanese, which is not beneficial to us. Because, of course, we are anti-Japan. Let us expose Fear's hypocrisy. Get out of here, Spear. Okay, so this, I think we saw this when we played as Ireland too. Where Tito is now taking over Yugoslavia. How will that work? My guess is not very well for him. The Adolf Hitler Art Gallery opens. Having been under construction for several years, Germany's elite tonight gathered in the grand opening of the Adolf Hitler Art Gallery, designated by Albert Speer in the heart of Germania. Whilst construction had briefly halted during economic uncertainty sometime years ago, the unanimous vote from the Reichstag agreed that the resources and funds should be made available for the project. Dedicated to showcasing the greatest piece of Aryan artwork in the Reich, the centerpiece of the gallery is a permanent exhibition of the paintings created by the Führer himself across his lifetime. After hours of champagne and socializing, the assembly crowd grew silent as the guests of honor took the stage. Already visibly emotionally, Hitler presented his newest painting to the attendees, a watercolor piece depicting a view from his room during a recent stay at Wilhelmshaven. After several minutes of applause, the Führer broke down into tears as he spoke about how much it meant to him that he'd have his art appreciated in such a public way, and how he sincerely hoped to inspire a generation of German artists to follow their passion just as he had done. Let no one stand in the way of your dreams, he told them. Surely artwork is the soul of any nation. We have lost, due to change economic policy, we've lost production units. Okay, don't worry about that too much. I'm sure our economic policy is fine. Everybody, Germany is doing okay. Don't hit my microphone, me. I'll try to avoid doing that as much as I possibly can. Look for opportunities. Sounds good to me. Unemployment on the rise. For everyday German, gainful employment is incredibly hard to come by. Nearly all sectors of the German economy, agriculture, manufacturing, and even construction, are glutted, dominated by slave labor. Uneducated Germans are hard-pressed to find jobs, forcing them to survive on state welfare. This has made labor involving higher education super competitive, even our best and biggest struggles to find jobs. The situation only worsens year after year, with no solution in sight. There are simply not enough private sector jobs to go around. The German economy needs a major overhaul, with the first being the address of the dismal state of the German employment. While we could certainly just conscript more men and to drop unemployment or increase benefits and payouts, it would be prudent to start phasing out slave labor and returning these jobs to the civilian sector, even if it is at the expense of the industrialist. So Spear's legitimacy will increase by 5. Goring, Heydrich increases. Well, of course, I want to get my influence up, right? If we're going to be going Borman. I mean, I guess we could theoretically, like, choose somebody else. We want to get, like, Goring. More men in the army. Increase benefits and payouts. Start phasing out slavery. Or do nothing. The strong will persevere. We'll increase benefits and payouts to German people. Give me even more influence. I mean, by far, Bormann is the most powerful man in Germany, which makes sense. I mean, if you are Hitler's chosen successor, it would make sense that you would be one of the most powerful men in the country. Like, it would just, that just makes sense. I am glad. I am glad that we're actually able to get through the a few more months here. The first little bit, I will admit, took quite a while to kind of get through the rigmarole. But now that we're done the early stages here, we're flying through this. We're already in June. We've done like 4 months. It's looking pretty good. Now, I don't think the Triumvirate, you haven't exploded yet, right? Or have you? No, the Triumvirate still technically exists between Spain, Italy, and and Turkey. That shouldn't last too long. That should be exploding. I don't know when exactly. I'm not super keen on when the New Order events happen. If you ask me, like, when does an event Kaiserreich take place, so I could tell you that every day of the week. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm a little bit more, I don't know. It happens at some point. All I know is that Hitler dies at the end of 63. Okay, we're exposing Spear's hypocrisy. We'll remind him of Heinrich's bloodlust. Does that lower his... if I could just, like, load in here. Does that lower his points here at all? No, they have all gone up by 5. Give me more rifles, please. A midnight call. Hi, Hitler! Oh. Guaido installed in Argentina. Collapse of Triumvirate. That's fine. Italy can collapse. That actually benefits me, I would say. Hi, Hitler. Martin Bormann grunted into his phone, plucking a cigar in his mouth. This is Bormann. I wanted to inquire into the Führer's health. I trust the fresh air out of the Burgred is treating him well. Dr. Brandt replied with his usual pleasantries and assured him the Führer's good health and medical isolation. Let's cut to the chase, Doctor. Will the Führer survive? As long as my medical orders are not interrupted by the likes of Julius Schlaub, the doctor spoke after a brief pause, we should see a turnaround. Drop the pomp oath, Bormann said through gritted teeth. Ignore him and continue your good work. I'll be sending a man to deliver a report to the Führer in 3 in the afternoon on a daily basis. Good night. Bormann placed the phone down and took a deep breath, puffed his cigar. It was the burden of a great man to suffer for their people. Whether Hitler lived or died, at least he would be privy to the Burr's beautiful views. Bormann snapped his fingers at the man sitting opposite him. Gerald Goldberg lifted his head from the pile of documents and straightened his back. Listen up, Gerald. I need you to organize a meeting with the Reichstag in 1 week's time. I'll be given reassurances of the party that the Führer is medically fit, while also emphasizing the importance of remaining mentally and politically prepared for his sudden passing. I'll also use the opportunity to denounce the reformist and militarist scum and to attack Speer and Goring for not attending such an important gathering. They won't be attending? Call for raised eyebrow? Not after given the wrong date, Bormann grinned. Goring had always been an easy target, and Speer had nowhere to hide now that the Führer was incapacitated. There was nothing restricting his plans. Okay, so he is now severely ill. And Burgundy now has the bomb. Which does seem like that could have potential consequences. So are they now listed as a nuclear power? Yes, they are now a nuclear power. They have 3 warheads. I do like how Burgundy, they're technically in our faction, but like we literally don't have any information about them. One actually really interesting thing I think about Burgundy is, like, if you're not playing Burgundy, you actually cannot see what the focuses are. Like, at least what their names are. You can see their effects. I don't think you can change that. But if you're not playing Burgundy, you literally don't know what the Burgundians are up to, which I find very, very, very interesting. Nazi terrorist attacks in Uruguay. Well, then Uruguay, you should just not be such a valuable target. I would love to have more allies in the Western Hemisphere. I don't think we have any member states at all. Everybody's like either aligned with the United States or, you know, something of that, taste. Okay, so Yugoslavia is going to be a war with the Italians. I'm pretty sure Yugoslavia cannot actually win this war. Yeah, I don't even think they have enough units. Maybe if they like hang around like Zagreb, they maybe could do something. But it's just so unlikely to anything to actually succeed. Like, you're just fucked. You're fucked, and that's okay. We can all be fucked to get together. I'm fucked. Tito's fucked. Turkey's fucked. It really it's just a smattering all around. The Volker Corrective Labor Camp? There's just a country that's just a big labor camp? What the hell? Wait, where are they? Before we end this episode out, like, what? There's ongoing conflicts here. It's you. Do you have a focus tree? Nah, you just kind of exist. That's fine. Anyways, I think this is going to be a good time for us to end off this episode. So if you enjoyed, press thumbs up. Not enjoyed, click thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.